All right, Habibi gang, welcome back to Pundit Habibi.
Hey.
You know, we love diving deep into the Premier League, and Matchday 14
Oh, yeah.
gave us plenty to unpack.
Absolutely.
Especially from those two Thursday night thrillers.
Yeah, we saw some truly unexpected results.
Yeah.
With Fulham snatching their first ever Premier League victory against Brighton.
Right.
And Bournemouth, those giant slayers, adding another big scalp to their collection by toppling Tottenham.
Speaking of Bournemouth, did you know their 19-year-old defender, Dean Huijsen,
Wow.
just became their youngest ever Premier League goal scorer?
Not
Not a bad way to make a name for yourself.
Not at all.
But let's rewind a bit
Okay.
and break down both matches, starting with Fulham versus Brighton.
Right.
A 3-1 final score,
Yeah.
with Fulham dominating for large stretches. What were your initial thoughts?
Well, considering Fulham had never beaten Brighton in the Premier League before this was a statement win,
Yeah.
what's fascinating here is how they exploited Brighton's tactics. Brighton loves to build from the back, playing out from their goalkeeper.
Right.
Fulham clearly did their homework.
Right.
Pressing high and forcing errors. That first goal, stemming from a misplaced pass by Brighton's keeper Bart Verbruggen,
Yeah.
really set the tone.
Right. And Alex Iwobi was there to capitalize, snagging the ball and slotting it home.
He was ready.
That's actually something Iwobi mentioned in his post-match interview.
Oh, really?
He feels he should be scoring more often.
Interesting.
Do you think this performance unlocks a new level for him? Or was it simply a case of Brighton's style playing right into his hands?
That's a great question. Iwobi definitely had a fantastic match, scoring twice and looking dangerous throughout.
Yeah.
Brighton's high defensive line left space for him to exploit.
Yeah.
And he took his chances clinically, but the real test will be how he performs against teams that sit back and defend deeper. Can he unlock those defenses as effectively?
Right.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And while Iwobi stole the headlines, you can't ignore the tactical battle between the managers.
Oh, of course not.
Marco Silva had Fulham set up perfectly to disrupt Brighton's rhythm.
Yeah.
And even though Brighton made it difficult, particularly in the first half, Fulham's persistence paid off.
Absolutely. You saw it in that second goal, a corner from Andreas Pereira.
Yeah.
That led to an own goal from Brighton's Matt O'Reilly.
Oh, wow.
That's Fulham taking advantage of the chaos they created.
Right.
And then Iwobi's second goal, a beautiful curled effort from the edge of the box that sealed the deal.
It was a clinical finish.
It was.
And this win propels Fulham right into the top half of the table.
I like it.
But let's shift gears, Habibi gang, and talk about the other big upset of the night, Bournemouth taking down Tottenham 1-0.
Right.
Now, this wasn't your typical smash-and-grab victory.
Right.
Bournemouth actually dominated the match, especially in the second half.
They did. And to think Tottenham were coming off a 4-0 drubbing of Manchester City away from home.
Whoa.
It just shows you how much Bournemouth can elevate their game, especially at the Vitality Stadium.
Yeah.
They've now won 4 of their last 5 home matches.
It really is becoming a fortress for them.
It is.
So let's talk about the hero of the match. Dean Huijsen, at just 19 years old.
Wow.
He scored the winning goal, becoming Bournemouth's youngest ever Premier League goal scorer in the process. What did you make of his performance?
It was a dream debut, honestly.
Yeah.
He was unmarked at the back post, perfectly positioned to head in Tavernier's corner.
Nice.
And it wasn't just the goal. His composure throughout the match was remarkable.
Yeah.
He went up against some serious attacking talent from Tottenham and didn't look phased one bit.
And speaking of Tottenham, they looked surprisingly lackluster, struggling to create chances and break down Bournemouth's organized defense. What do you think was the main factor in their struggles?
Well, the stats paint a clear picture. Bournemouth dominated the second half, registering a whopping 16 shots.
Wow.
Tottenham seemed unable to cope with Bournemouth's high press and their quick transitions.
It was a complete role reversal from their dominant display against City.
It's a testament to Bournemouth's tactical discipline and their ability to adapt to different opponents.
For sure.
And Donnarumma has built a very impressive unit there.
He has. They play with such fearlessness and intensity. They don't back down from anyone.
Okay, Habibi gang, that covers the highlights and some initial analysis of these 2 Thursday night stunners, but we're just getting started.
You know what's really interesting about Bournemouth's performance?
Yeah.
Is that it wasn't just a one-off.
Right.
We've seen this pattern emerging throughout the season.
Yeah.
They've already upset Arsenal and Manchester City at home.
Right.
And now Tottenham.
So it's more than just home advantage.
Right.
There's a tactical blueprint here that's working against these top sides.
Exactly. If we look closer at those matches, we see a common thread.
Okay.
Bournemouth are masters of disrupting their opponent's rhythm. They press high-force mistakes and then transition quickly into attack. And they seem particularly adept at exploiting a weakness that's becoming increasingly common amongst the Premier League's elite vulnerability to quick counterattacks.
Right. Teams like City and Tottenham, they love to dominate possession, push their fullbacks high up the pitch. Leaving space in behind Bournemouth are incredibly efficient at exploiting those gaps.
It's a classic case of David versus Goliath, where the underdog uses the giant's strength against them.
Precisely. And what makes it even more impressive is that Bournemouth aren't just relying on luck or individual brilliance. They're well-drilled, tactically disciplined, and they execute their game plan with remarkable precision.
And Donny Iraola deserves a lot of credit for that.
He does.
He's instilled a real sense of belief in this squad. They know they can compete with anyone, and they're not afraid to go toe-to-toe with the best.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the impact of the crowd at the Vitality Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
The atmosphere they create is electric. It gives Bournemouth an extra edge. And it can be incredibly intimidating for opposing teams.
It's a true fortress, and it's a big reason why Bournemouth have been so successful at home this season.
It is.
But let's switch back to Fulham for a moment.
Okay.
Their win over Brighton, while perhaps less surprising than Bournemouth's victory, was still a significant result.
Definitely. It was their first ever Premier League win against Brighton, and it showed that Fulham are a team on the rise.
Right.
They're playing with confidence, they're well organized, and they have some real attacking threats.
Iwobi's performance was obviously a highlight. But it wasn't just about him. Fulham played as a unit.
Right.
And they executed Marco Silva's game plan perfectly.
Right.
They pressed high-forced errors and created plenty of chances.
What I found particularly impressive was their ability to adapt to Brighton's tactical shifts.
Okay.
Brighton started with 3 at the back,
Yeah.
which initially caused Fulham some problems, but they adjusted quickly.
Yeah.
And by the second half, they were in complete control.
That second goal, the own goal from O'Reilly, was a perfect example of Fulham's persistence paying off.
Yeah.
They kept the pressure on, and eventually Brighton cracked.
And then Iwobi's second goal, that curling effort into the top corner, was simply world class.
Yeah.
It was a goal that showcased his individual talent.
Right.
But it also underlined Fulham's overall dominance.
It was a statement performance.
It was.
And it sends a message to the rest of the Premier League.
Oh, yeah.
Fulham are a team to be reckoned with. They're well coached. They're hungry.
Yeah.
And they have the potential to cause some serious upsets.
Absolutely. And with their win over Brighton, they've moved into the top half of the table.
I like it.
It'll be interesting to see if they can maintain this momentum and push for a European spot.
It's certainly a possibility. They have a tough run of fixtures coming up.
True.
But if they can keep playing with this level of intensity and tactical discipline, they could be a real dark horse in the race for Europe.
You know what's fascinating about both Fulham and Bournemouth? Is that they represent a broader trend in the Premier League this season.
Which is?
The gap between the so-called Big Six and the rest of the league seems to be closing.
We're seeing more upsets, more unpredictable results, and more teams challenging the established order.
Exactly. And that's great news for the league as a whole. It makes it more competitive, more exciting, and more unpredictable.
It's what we love about the Premier League, right?
Yes.
The drama, the passion, the constant sense that anything can happen.
Absolutely. And these 2 matches on Thursday night were a perfect embodiment of that spirit.
They reminded us why we love this beautiful game. And they gave us plenty to ponder as we look ahead to the rest of the season.
Indeed. So, Habibi gang, what do you think? Are we witnessing a power shift in the Premier League? Are the underdogs finally starting to bark, or is this just a temporary blip? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, it's a question that's going to dominate the headlines for weeks to come. But one thing's for sure, this Premier League season is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable and exciting in recent memory.
And that's what keeps us coming back for more, right, Habibi gang? The twists, the turns, the constant sense of possibility.
Absolutely. We saw it on full display Thursday night. Fulham, a team that had never tasted victory against Brighton in the Premier League, putting in a dominant performance to secure a 3-1 win. And then Bournemouth, a team many had tipped for relegation, continuing their giant-slaying run by toppling Tottenham at their fortress, the Vitality Stadium.
You know, these results send a powerful message. The Premier League hierarchy is being challenged. Teams are evolving tactically, players are stepping up, and underdogs are finding ways to upset the established order.
And it makes you wonder, what's next? Can Fulham build on this momentum and push for a European spot? Will Bournemouth continue to be a thorn in the side of the Big Six? And how will the traditional powerhouses respond to this emerging threat?
These are the questions that will keep us on the edge of our seats as the season unfolds. We'll be watching closely to see how these narratives develop, how the tactical battles play out, and which players rise to the occasion.
And that's what we're here for, Habibi Gang, to dissect the tactics, analyze the performances, and provide you with the insights you need to understand the beautiful game at a deeper level.
So make sure you subscribe to Pundit Habibi for your daily dose of Premier League deep dives. We'll be back tomorrow to break down all the latest action, share our expert opinions, and spark those thought-provoking conversations.
Until then, Habibi Gang, stay passionate, stay engaged, and keep the faith in the beautiful game. We'll see you soon.